Hi, I'm Rachel Aronstein, AIC's editor, and this is the third in a series of videos designed to teach members of AIC's editorial committee for Stash how to add new articles to the website. In the first video, we showed you how to log in and gave a brief tour of the back end of the WordPress site. In the second video, we showed how to add a new article. And in this third, we're going to continue the adding article process and on images. So again, in this example, we're talking about an article where the content has been sent to us as individual image files and a corresponding Word document so that we have the text. So if you've taken a break between adding your text and adding the images, you'll need to know how to find your article again. When you log into the All Pages, you see that the default ordering is sort of how pages were added to the site. But you could search under drafts, and that will just pull up the things that have been saved as draft and have not been published on the site. And the other thing that you can do is you can click here on date, and it will do a sort or reverse sort. In this case, our most recent effort has come up at the top. So I'm going to click here on edit. And you see that brings us into our article. It brings up our page builder widget. Now, adding images is actually sort of a two-step process. WordPress has a centralized media library. And so everything that we want to link to an article, like a PDF download or an image, goes into our media library here on the left. So we're going to go to Add New. And it brings you to the Upload New Media page. So in this case, let me make my window a little bit smaller here. Let's navigate to where I have William Bennett's article saved. And I'm going to capture all 8 of his images and his figure. And I believe that my computer does not seem to like the drag and drop. Oh, it did it this time. So that works. Otherwise, you can click on Select File, and it will automatically, take you, and you can, click on the individual files, just like you would for any kind of attachment. So you'll see here that it's going to take a few minutes to go through and upload these images to the site. And then we're going to go in and we're going to add content to these images. So bear with me while I do this. Almost there. Okay, down to our last image. Almost. There we go. Okay, excellent. So now you can see that all of our images should be in our central media library. And I am going to want to go in and edit these images. So let's make this a little bit smaller. And I'm going to scroll up to figure out where our images go. Okay, so image number 1, and I'm going to copy so I can just paste in the information here for image number 1. I'm going to click edit. Okay, we can see the image here. And before you upload, the best thing to do is make sure that that the file name somehow makes it easy for you to track that file. So in this case, the author name and then the image number is perfect. And here we're going to put in the information that we want to come up as a caption. And I should also put in image 1. So image 1, alternative text is not necessary. And description, in this case, we're going to put in the title of the article and the description, because that's just going to allow us, if we search for something, maybe to find it. And we'll put in, let's see if I spelled his name correctly. Yes. Okay. And now we're going to hit update. So you'll see it gives us the upload information. This file URL is going to be important because that's how we're going to link to this file name in the future. It's a JPEG, a reasonably sized image, and with these dimensions. Now we'll hit update. And let's see if this brings us back to our media library. Okay, so you'll see here, this is our full media library list, and it lists who uploaded it, where it's uploaded or attached to, which is not used yet, and sort of how long ago this has been done. So let's go in and add our captions to the rest of these. So this is image 4. We don't need that bracket. And we're going to put this in. And once again, we're going to paste in our title. Okay, and that's done. And we're going to hit update. So I'm not going to do this for all 9 images while you watch the video, but let's just go back and we're going to do one more, just for repetition's sake. Let's do image 3. We're going to highlight that, click on edit. And scroll down in our Word document until we find his caption. And put that here. And let's grab our title one last time. Okay. Hit update. So we save our caption information. And let's go back to our library. So we believe we added the information for image 1, image 3, image 4. Let's just give ourselves one more and go back to our Word document so we get grab image 2. Get rid of those brackets. And we need our title. Okay. I think you've probably got the system for how to add the caption. And now we're going to go back to our page. Again, here, in this case, we'll find it by hitting drafts and creating a custom enclosure. So in this case, in looking at William's text, he actually has his first image under purpose. And so that goes into the second level of our page builder module. So I'm going to click here on the lines, which brings us into the editing mode. And you can see that our information is still in there. And now we're going to want to add in our image. So you want to put your cursor where your image wants to go. And there's some ways to play with that. But in this case, we're going to put it at the end of this section, and we're going to click on Add Media. So if you only have one image, you can also sort of do this as you go. I like to sort of just do it in one fell swoop. But here we're going to go, so you can upload a file as you go. But here you can see that our first 4, all of our images, but the first 4 with captions are already ready. And this is, let's just double check. This one says image 1, our title, caption, all of that is still in there. And we're going to say insert into page. Now, this is a fairly large file. You can see that because we put the caption information in here, it's showing up in sort of the window. But we're going to, we want to make this maybe a little smaller. It's a little bit big. So when you hover over the image, you have the option of deleting that one and redoing it again, or hitting the pencil, which brings you back into the editing mode. So in this case, I think maybe we would, since this is a 2-column page structure, it doesn't really do us any good to center it. We might wind up wanting to put this actually as the first bit of text in the next section of the page builder, but let's take a look at that. However, I think the large is going to be really big for this, so let's resize it into medium, and let's just take a look at that. Let's hit save, and now remember, none of this is saved into the whole draft until we hit save draft. Now we're hitting preview to see what that looks like. So that's not bad, actually. Let's leave that as it is, and we can always come back and tinker with the formatting and see if we put it into the next section, we could actually center it as opposed to having it sort of as the last part of this section, of this upper level. But okay, so we're going to close this page and go back to our editing mode and go into our next text so that we can figure out where to add. So that was image 1. and the rest of the images are going to be in the construction section. Image 2 goes in with step 2. Okay, so we're going to place our cursor and hit Add Media. Okay, so here on our media library, and let's see, there's our image 2. And we're going to, in this case, we can already play with the size here. And let's make this medium. Insert into page. Now, I don't really like that there on the left because it interferes with our numbered list. So let's go in and tell it that we want to put that on the right. Now, the other thing is that medium is a little bit smaller than maybe I'd like. Large is really large, but we can also go into custom size. Let's say, let's make that 500 and see how we feel about that. Click Update. And that looks good. The only thing now, though, is that we put this at the bottom of number 2, but it's sort of a little bit lower and may interfere with the placement of our image 3, which is going to go into 4. So either we need to make our image smaller or we need to move it up. So in this case, sometimes it lets you. Oh, no, I just actually hit the wrong button. In this case, let's see what happens if we move this up and make it perhaps maybe a little smaller. Okay. So stick with medium. I'm going to do right. I'm going to let us have our nope. Let's insert it into the page and then we'll play with it there. Okay, that may not be so bad. So by moving it up, it moved, by moving it up to the top of the section, it sort of moved it over and maybe a little bit better in terms of placement. So now we just need to figure out where we put in our second image, which actually goes with step 4. So I'm going to try putting that here, just so that it falls underneath the image 2. We're going to hit Add Media again, and let's see. Here's our image 3. Image 3, great. Let's check our placement. Once you put it in, it sort of automatically defaults to that. And let's insert into page. Let's see how that looks. Well, we didn't get it quite low enough, so it's doing something a little funky here. Let's take that out and let's try it again in a slightly lower placement. Okay, that's beginning to look good. Now, if we find that this is not going to match up well, what we'll wind up doing is we'll go in and we'll center our images underneath the text. So why don't we actually see if that's going to be necessary. I hit Save in my module page builder. I'm going to save our draft. And let's go into preview. So interestingly, it looks a little different than it did in the page builder, or this is a little bit lower. I think we might want to go back in and center our images, and we can also then make it a little bit bigger. So let's close this and go back in. And I think we're going to also, I don't like how this is looking here, so let's delete this. And we're going to put it in at the top. But we do want to put in our C image 1. Okay, we save this. Now go back into our third level module. And we're going to, even before we get into description, we're going to add media. Now I'm sort of repeating what we did before, but this is sort of the fun part where, where you get into the art of all of this. We're going to make this large, and we're going to center it. Now again, that's a little too large, but if we go in here, then it allows us to do the custom size. So let's see what happens with this. Okay, that seems like it's working well. So let's delete this image here and this one here, and we're going to go and if you want, we can format this with an italics. I have to remember to go back up and do that in the first section. So here I'm going to place my cursor. Oh, no, I don't want to do that. And go back up to Add Media. Click on Image 2. And I'm going to insert that into the page. Again, a little too large. Let's go into our editing module and do our custom sizing. I'm just choosing 500 as sort of a nice middle range. Okay, so by putting my cursor at the end of image 2, of the end of, sorry, the bullet point for step 2, and not putting in a space. I didn't change anything having to do with our list, but it gives us a nice image. So let's see, I believe our next image was under step 4. So let's put in our text. I just use the keystroke here instead of going up and using the WYSIWYG editor. And we're going to add media. Here's our image 3. Insert that into the page. I'm going to resize. And go to our custom size. And update. And let's do the 4th image that we had actually put in, which I believe was, no, we didn't do figure 1. With image 4, which goes under step 9. Okay, and I'll put in our identifier, add media, and image 4, insert into page. And now I have to reset. Go down a little too far. Missing our edit button. And custom size, choose. You'll see it automatically keeps things in proportion. And let's see, update. Okay. I think you guys get the point. I'm going to hit save. And again, since we're not finished, I'm not going to hit publish yet, and I am going to hit save draft, and then we'll take a look. Okay, so I'll have to remember to go back in and italicize that, but I think I like that as the top of the third section rather than taking up space sort of off to the left there. And let's see, the sizing of our images here looks good. So I think I'm happy with that. I'm going to stop for now. I think you guys hopefully have the point of how to add new image files to the centralized WordPress media library for Stash, and go in and add in the caption information so that will automatically show up for you. And here I see another little bracket that I'll have to go in and edit out. And then how to place them, and how to use your own judgment on whether it's a thumbnail image, which can be enlarged when you click on it, centering it, putting it off to the right. Those all are up to your judgment as editor and what you think will look best. So thank you for joining us, and we'll pick up with the fourth video with subsequent steps.